People may want to hurt you more if you talk about your pain, but this doesn't always happen. It is normal for some people to enjoy seeing you hurt, or even help it happen or get worse. Unfortunately, a lot of people act this way out of jealousy and sadism, which can get in the way of your personal growth at work, with friends, and even in your own family. So, learning not to show your weak point can become your strong point in the long run. Think of yourself as a tree that is being hit by a storm. Even if the leaves and branches move, the base stays strong and firmly planted in the ground. This is the picture of quiet strength that we are going to teach you. We'll talk about how you can become even stronger by showing that you don't let outside or inside problems affect you easily. Each task teaches you to be like the tree. You're not denying the storm when you act like it doesn't bother you. You're just choosing not to let the rain and wind get to you. You will learn how to be in charge of your own life, strong, calm, and firm in the face of chaos. Epicurus was a great and well-known philosopher who you may have already heard of. In this video, we will talk about 18 of his Stoic principles. I also want to call you to self-knowledge, a place where power doesn't come from thunder, but from the quiet of the light that guides you. So, don't think about the things that bother you every day for the next few minutes. Instead, focus on the topic. Let's begin. The first rule is to listen twice as much as you talk. Have you ever thought about why our bodies only have one mouth but two ears? Epicurus said that this is not a mistake or an accident, but rather something that is meant to be. There are times when we should fall in love with someone else's voice more than our own. We don't get ahead in life by repeating ourselves over and over. Instead, we learn from others. From now on, pay more attention to what other people say and less to what you have been believing up until now. The second rule is to always think the worst will happen. Thinking that bad things will happen in the future is one of the main reasons of worry and its extremely bad effects. We're afraid that our kids will stop going to school, that we'll get fired, that our partner will tell us they've been cheating on us and ask for a divorce, or that something else bad will happen to us, like going bankrupt. What's wrong is that we worry about one of these problems one day and then another the next. There will be good and happy times in our lives, but there will also be some problems that we have to deal with. So, we live in constant stress that is caused by new things every day. Right here is where Epicurus comes in, because his idea is both extreme and useful. He states, think that all these things you fear so much have already happened. Then what could be worse? In this way, your spirit will learn how to deal with things so that you can keep your head up. Third rule, get ready to fail, because that's the only way to get better. Epicurus has a different take on this. He says that we do difficult things so that people don't think we are stupid. His philosophy says that being seen as such is one of the best things that can happen to you. This is how you can really get better at your job and in your personal life as well. Stoic philosophers tell us that getting through tough times doesn't happen all of a sudden. It takes a long time of trying things and failing. We can improve the things that keep us from being perfect by making mistakes. Rule number 4, be aware of the risks that come with luck. Few people are able to escape the shame that comes with having the wealth we desire. It's not just the people who will appear out of nowhere to take advantage of our good luck, like claiming to be friends with us when they aren't. People can change because of money, and it's not always for the better. When we get this highly sought-after resource, we realize we have something we didn't know we had before. That's when our spirit may start to poison itself because we no longer have any morals around. Rule number 5, don't hold on to just one dream. Luckily, we humans like to try new things. This means that we shouldn't put all our hopes in one dream, since it could be extremely disappointing if we fail at it. Epicurus says that we should follow many dreams because that will greatly increase our chances of success. Sixth principle, Always keep in mind that death is at the end of the road. This advice doesn't tell us to be negative. It just tells us to be aware that death is the end result of everything we do, and especially our efforts. Having this in mind might help us decide if it is worth saving for 20 years to buy a house that we won't be able to take with us when we die. In the same way that we carry around our phones, credit cards, and toothbrushes. Because we think they are necessary for daily life, we should also carry around a small notebook with these Stoic principles. By doing so, we will no longer see setbacks as misfortunes and life as time we have to ourselves, but rather as something more realistic. This will help us make better use of our time on earth. Rule number 7. Being happy is what makes you truly wealthy. Because he was Stoic, Epicurus had his own idea of what made someone happy. One of his famous quotes says, "A wise man is one who does not fret over the things he does not have, but rejoices in those he does have." It's not just a thought. This reflection is advice on how to stop being upset about the riches that aren't yet in our lives. We lose important minutes of happiness when we complain and cry about what we don't have. During those minutes, we could be thankful for everything we have accomplished so far, which is a lot more than our eyes are trained to see. In this way, someone who is rich is mostly happy. 8th principle, make humility a part of your life. People must first learn what they think they already know if they want to really learn something. It is this saying from Epicurus that tells us to be humble, especially when we are learning. As we go through life, bragging about how smart we are keeps us farther away from the real knowledge that comes from knowing we don't know anything about what we want to learn. This way, we'll see everything through the eyes of a child, whose eyes are full of wonder and a desire to learn. 9th principle, guilt is the same thing as plague. People with narrow minds blame others, while normal people blame themselves. But wise people think that all sorrow is silly. Today, therapists use this term from Epicurus to talk about shame as a feeling that we need to get rid of. If you want to beat sorrow, you have to refuse to play with it. The problem is that it leads to an easy road, because when we blame others or ourselves, we don't have to do anything to fix the mistake. So, giving into it is a strong desire that is hard to resist. People who are really determined to beat their problems are the only ones who can avoid guilt and still take responsibility for what they did. Rule number 10. Form partnerships with people who can help you win. It is interesting that when someone sneezes next to us, we move away right away out of fear that they will infect us. We are not as careful to avoid one of the most dangerous diseases we come into contact with every day, though. Epicurus gave us good advice about this. Surround yourself with people who inspire you to do your best, because how other people act has a big effect on how you feel. Some people make us feel tired and drained, while others make us happy and energized. As a result, one of the best things we can do is form relationships with people who bring us good vibes and let go of people who can make us regret being born. Rule 11. Don't forget that the way you respond shapes your future. It's important not to underestimate our responses because they determine whether we succeed or fail. Epicurus was very clear on this point. Rather than being able to choose what happens, he taught us how to deal with it. Everyone can have bad luck sometimes, but what we do when it does will make all the difference from then on. Some people go through sadness and feel like they are being victimized after getting divorced. Epicurus, on the other hand, sees it as a great chance to begin the journey of self-knowledge. Don't forget that what you do with your life is what makes it yours. Rule number 12. Always do what you're supposed to do. Every person plays an important part in society and the world. For example, the sun rises every day without any praise or magic. It just does. So, just like every part of nature does its job, we need to do what we need to do. You and the people around you will both be let down if we wait for praise or do our work just to get praise. Everyone has a moral duty to do their job when they know what it is and that other people count on it. We shouldn't need anyone to tell us. Rule number 13. Don't hate people who hate you, just ignore them. The person who attacks, hates and treats you badly is much smaller and less important than you. Spending time hating that person is a waste of your time because they don't deserve to be in your thoughts. People tell us not to be afraid of people who hurt us because that noise is an unfortunate attempt to hurt us. So don't pay attention to it and get used to it. Rule number 14. Choose simplicity. Why live a simple life when we can surround ourselves with all sorts of nice things these days? The answer is much easier and more reasonable than you think. This system of luxuries and wealth doesn't last on its own. It takes dedication and a lot of daily energy to keep it going. Choosing a simple life, on the other hand, frees us from the stress of having to meet the due dates of our loans, credit cards, and bills. 15. If you let other people's comments and actions worry you, you give up control of your life. If someone can make you mad, they are your master. That person can only make you mad, though, if you let them bother you. Epicurus shows us that we are like a lock with many keys inside. Some keys lead to happiness, while others straight to mental ruin. And it is this last key that we give to people who annoy us. We can solve this problem by putting up a wall that stops us from being affected by other people's views, because everyone is responsible for what they say and what they choose to listen to. Friendship is more important than wealth, according to Principle 16. Genuine friends are real wealth because they will be there for us if our money runs out one day. Because of this, if you work hard to make real friends, you will be making a very smart long-term investment. Principle 17. Always get something good out of something. It is up to you to use what happens to your benefit or not. These are Epicurus's words. In this case, it's not about whether we can find the good in bad situations. It's about whether we have to. Because you are smart, you will be able to see the good things that can come from the situation that has happened to you. Let's say you get to work one day and find out you're being fired. There is an alternative to giving up and believing that everything is against you. Starting the business you've always wanted to start while working with people you don't like. So, always try to see the good in things, because this will get you further in life than just moping around. Rule number 18. Don't stress about things you can't change. You own what you think, but not what people think of you. There is a strong desire and enthusiasm for the search, but you have no control over how many things you find or how successful you are. The only thing we're really doing when we worry and get angry about things we can't change is waste time. Epicurus said that we should work on adopting values that we can change, but he also said that we should let go of values that we can't change and let fate handle the rest. Stoic principles are lessons that can help us deal with bad times with interest and resilience. They are also very useful in everyday life. Their philosophy says that you should only use what you've learned and keep going. It doesn't allow for fantasy. We hope you enjoy the video. If you made it this far, please share your thoughts with us in the comments. If you're not already, please subscribe. Have a nice day.